healthy. Fang's been naded to oblivion. He's just trying to get in a position, and he catches so many nades, he's basically limping. He's hanging by a shred.
4 paltry points of health for Fang. Beautiful utility coming out from Team 1 early on out of T-Con. And that's what you love to see from Team 1, a very disciplined team, a very team play-oriented squad. And again, a double-up stack here. I'm pretty sure Team will expect this is going to be Barton for the first phase. Okay. Curry, though, as able to get 2 kills, somehow eliminates TRK as well. And that's actually going to flip the advantage back to under 21. Aside from the fact that Fang and Curry have a combined 10 points of health, Mike, and there's still plenty of utility, including a nade on Pesadillo.
Yeah, this could be problematic. The HE might find somebody, but they don't want anything to do with this inner bomb site. They're going to withdraw. Seems like they've got a little bit of ladder presence. They've still got 50 seconds, so they can sort of let this round marinate just a wee smidge. See if something goes their way, if something breaks their way. But oh, that's a big spot. Bit of damage. Would have been better to be a frag, but the information is huge. It hasn't drawn a rotation just yet, but what it has done is slow Team 1 for a moment, and there Zeppa goes back to the well. He's only going to limp away with 1 health. And that's actually the high HP player going down. So now between 3 players, they have 11 HP. This is a little bit wild, pretty unreal, but with 20 seconds, it's a question of how many spots they can check. For under 21, they can't take any sort of protracted fight, but if they catch somebody off guard, that might just be enough. 15 seconds, they are letting this run down. The egg timer is about to go off. Their cookies, they're going to burn. They're coming around 8 seconds, and that might just be enough. Pesa will get the plant, and that changes everything just in the nick of time. They've gotten it out the oven. They've gotten that bomb down, and now this is a really tough retake with no health to play with.
Maluki's going to have Fang on lock, and Curry probably not going to have a better fate than his teammate, a Molotov, to actually block off the Z position. So I think that just might have to be a save from under 21. That economic trap, as you mentioned, will come into play again the next round, although I hope for under 21's sake that they go for the full save here and try and get a full buy. I mean, it's Train. If you think of Ops, you think of Dust2 and Train primarily.
Right.
And under 21 have not had that opportunity yet. So I think
it's kind of a classic pick that a lot of these younger teams fall into, because a team like under 21 is built around star power, right? They're built around these young names who've got an incredible amount of star power behind them. I'm thinking Zeppa, I'm thinking Curry, but really everyone on this roster has that explosive quality where anytime they've got any sort of weapon in their hands, you think, we can do this. We can win this round. It's just going to take one person getting a multi-kill and we're good. The problem is that can be a dangerous mentality if you sustain it through an entire half. You wind up in a situation where you're just never giving yourself the proper chance. And under 21, they'll have rifles here. I think B-Wills may even have one dumped on the ground. Might just be an SMG for him, but it's not a bad buy. It's just, it's not a good one.
I honestly think it's a bad buy just based off of the cost. They should probably go for a save and actually have a full buy behind what they need. Get an op-up, maybe even 2. Try and have all the utility possible. They have some, but it's not going to be enough. B-Will's down to the Deagle. Team 1 are just content to keep on working around. I'm sure they're going to use their utility one more time and maybe take another player down early like Fang was in the previous round. Fang was at 4 HP with about 10 seconds gone in the round last time. Doesn't look like there will be any nades from Team 1 this time around early on, but still that threat does loom. And another round lost by under 21. Solidify Team 1 here. Sneaky taking a lot of early damage. This is another bad start.
Oof. Okay. I mean, it's not terrible yet. It's definitely recoverable. One thing that you have to keep in mind throughout this series, Train is a really tough map to wind up on for under 21. That's a big pick to find for Pesa. They don't play it. They've played it, I think, 1 time since January. The last time they played it 2 times on record. The time before January they played it, they were still called Rat Gang, I think. So it has been a very long time since they've played much of Train at all.
They played Train last night against Rugrats.
How did that one
won, I think, 3rd overtime?
Yeah,
I want to say. It was 3rd or 4th overtime.
But again, that's a team that plays sort of into under 21 strengths a little bit. In terms of the way they like to play, relying on individual form, going for really fast, loose plays. And Train against a structured team like Team 1, against a team that has a little bit more behind them in terms of the length of time they've been playing and the work they've been putting in, perhaps. I don't want to say that. It's just a different philosophical style, if you will. Team 1 definitely still has some explosion, but they've got a little bit more discipline. This is nice, though. Into T-Con, they have no idea Fang gets one. It is traded, though, and he was hoping to have maybe a little bit more impact. That was a cheeky angle. Still, he's equalized the numbers, and that might be something for them to work with. B-Will's going to try and peek around the ladder, but he's got a bullet between the eyes, and that will silence him. Still, the numbers once again being equalized, and there's just going to be Sneaky left in the train, in the smoke, trying to do something pretty wild here. He's been caught out. He's dancing around. He's trying to buy a bit of time for himself to get an angle and get a kill, but the time is ticking away. The clock is done, and a bullet will find him.
And the angles are always going to favor the Kriegs. The meta now seems to be Krieg-sided more and more. And Team 1 more than happy to use those rifles to their full potential. Sneaky really regretting that early damage he took on B ramp. Didn't really give him much of a chance there. Had no utility to fight back, no kit. So his time cut by 5 more seconds. Trying to take the long-range duel against the Krieg, not going to end well, but under 21, this could be a blessing in disguise as it finally forces them to go for a save. 3 Deegs and a 5-7, nope, a couple pieces of armor, but no utility. Curry, though, spamming away with his hand cannon, does some damage. Definitely going to try and do some more, but it takes a long time to finally nail the shots with the TRK. B-Wills, though, comes in. Maluki's low, Barton is dead. And Pace is at 3 HP, and he's no longer with us. Does manage to take out B-Wills, but Zeppa has the angle, has a Molotov out. Maluk's going to peek before it. This is where things get messy for Zeppa, but he's going to win that duel.
4K.
That is a massive 4K from Zeppa. No armor, the deagle in hand, and you mentioned his explosive power. He just showcased it.
He absolutely did, and that's what they need, right? That's what under 21 needs to deliver themselves rounds, and here's the reality of what they were doing. Because they were string along so many buys, they just needed one to break their way, and it finally did. That's a big error from Team 1. It was very odd from them. They went for a super fast play in towards B, but they weren't hiding it at all. They were sprinting out, and then they hesitated before they actually hit. So Curry, who was close up, heard them running towards that upper position, knew exactly what was happening, and he could bring 2 extra bodies into the site before they actually got through. So that was maybe a little overconfident for Team 1 to just try and kind of sprint into the angle and see what they could find. Under 21, they're a team that you really can't underestimate. Anytime they've got deagles, they're still going to be potent, and it's that explosive capability. We saw it from Zeppa there for sure. He didn't even have armor in that engagement. But really, any player on this roster is that kind of threat.
Yeah, I mean, we saw B-Wills with a couple good kills before. Curry's had his moments, and of course, Fang with that cheeky little angle. Just getting in that angle was good enough, and 1 kill was almost enough to win a round. Of course, he would have gotten more, that would have been better, but everybody on under 21 more than capable, and now Sneaky has picked up his weapon of choice. He's finally got an AWP in hand. Of course, Maluk has one 14-1, but Barton and PRT both relegated to deagles now, and the utility has been wasted away by Team 1. They don't have much of it left. There's 40 seconds to go. They have to go for an execute here. I believe they're leaning in towards this B side. 4 players ready to go. Flashbangs and smokes about to fly through. But of course, there's Curry and Sneaky to hold things down here. Curry, though, unable to get anything done. It's going to be Sneaky with the first shot, but TRK with the trade. Maluk and Peso with simultaneous kills have opened the B site. And under 21, they might win the eco rounds, Mike, but it seems their gun round will not come to pass.
That's what we see. Team 1, they slow it down a little bit. They take their time. They play a little bit more cautiously instead of going for that really fast style that they did. That's a difference maker. Team 1, they're just going to be tough to contain. For under 21, it's going to be not so much about the duels, right? It's going to be about the little things. The timing on the utility, the timing to call the rotations. That's the challenging part of playing CT side train. You really have to pace your utility, especially if you're an inner side anchor. And you have to know when to call in the cavalry. Because there's very much a too early and there's a too late when it comes to hitting B. A lot of pressure gets put on you. Generally, teams will play. They actually did have 2 watching there, so there was a little bit of support. There was the AWP as well. But you're going to see this a few different times, and I expect Team 1 to kind of take advantage of it, especially early in this matchup. They'll try and abuse that inner sight to train under 21 to almost overreact to any presence at inner, and then if they're clever, they'll start to change the formula. Send players Ivy, send them through, and just see if they can really start to abuse the expectations of under 21.
Under 21 not going to buy into the buys here. They're going to go for the save, have a couple armor pieces behind pistols, but the save weaponry will be the most firepower they have in this round. Both of them, actually, not just one. Fang's going to have the rifle over towards B. Under 21 with that double up B once again. It's so common to see teams go for that 4 inside with 1 farther back to retake. On the B side, have Molotov there to stall off the plant and hope the people of his teammates rotate in time, but Under 21 are more than content with Duel B. Instead, they're going to take aggression. TRK wins that opening duel. And out of all the times that Under 21 have taken this upper brown hole aggression, I feel like they haven't won the duel more than once.
That's true. It's true. And there we go. There's a second player down to the well. Nothing behind it. No utility, of course. It was just going for a dry peek and hoping that it would work out. And it doesn't. And you're seeing what Team 1's been doing. Okay, here we go. Speaking of dry peeks, 1 kill. Not a bad impact for a pistol. The problem is it's just not quite enough at this point in the round. And here they're going for the outer hit. They've done enough damage. They've dumped enough bodies onto that ramp. Maybe Zeppa's going to catch a player trying to get down ladder. And he might indeed. This is really the last possible result for them in the round. B-Wills just has to save his M4 for sure. Zeppa. He's going to catch the timing here. They're hiding guns from him. He's going to go up. Maluk spotted it. But Zeppa gets the better of him. That's an alt found. And B-Wills has now gotten a kill. That's going to inspire them to go for it. They're going to think they can. There's a kit available for B-Wills as well. Buys them a little bit of extra time. Problem is Zeppa's out of position now. He's held up at T-Con. So it's really going to be B-Wills alone to try and have this. And with time ticking away, he doesn't fancy his chance. They're going to get out of there.
I think that's the good call there. Zeppa will add another one to his tally as he omps Pesa. But B-Wills will be able to survive here. Zeppa should be, unless Barton can take him down. Zeppa's tucked himself away. I don't think Barton's going to be able to make it in time. Indeed, he will not. So the op stays alive, and there's a chance for a double op setup here for Under 21. Might not be a bad idea. And B-Wills actually picked up a Krieg instead, so bit of an upgrade for him. Zeppa will go for that secondary op, so we finally see a double op setup on the CT side here for Under 21. And if there's a chance for them to make a stand, it has to start somewhere. It has to start here because Team 1 are already at 6 rounds, which is a solid T-side half on Train. Anything more is going to make it a lot easier for them to win on CT. And B-Wills goes down early. Fang with the aggression will pay for his transgression with a 1-for-1 trade. Zeppa next in line will get the trade on a PRT. So it is a 3v3. But already massive casualties. And Pesa, he's just walking out and hitting heads.
That's nice. A return, though, as well. He was caught with utility, and Curry punishes it. Now they're going to adjust, but Curry's got to get back in towards this inner sight. Barton might have the timing. He does indeed. Great shot out from Barton to win the duel and really make this a tough spot for Zeppa. There's a molly to go through, so he's going to be stopped. He can't really get the initial face, and by the time he gets on towards the site, he's going to have no idea where at least one of these players is playing from. Bomb plant will go in. He's actually past the Molotov. That might be false security for them. Indeed, it is. Maluk. Oh, Zeppa doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't take his opportunity. What's he trying to do here? Doesn't have a smoke to cover off this defuse. May have just missed his one chance to get this bomb defused. Here's going to be the first check. He pulls away just the wrong moment. Tried to find it all. Tried to go for the patience play. But all he winds up with is another lost round. 7 rounds now for the T side of Team 1. This is excellent showing here on Train. And they're still continuing to batter Under 21. Even in this, which is going to be another buy round, you can see Fang and Curry limited. They're not going to have all of the weaponry they'd want in the world. You're going to have a UMP out, and Zeppa winds up with only a smoke in terms of util.
There are 2 kits for Under 21, and the lack of a diffuser for Zeppa was kind of what hamstrung him in that last round. As while he didn't have necessarily the opportunities for those 1v1 duels, he had that chance to take out Maluk, and probably considering the fact that he didn't have a kit, it would have been the better option to isolate it to a 1v1 instead of a 1v2. If he had a kit, I could justify going for that diffuse, but he didn't have a kit. 10-second ninja in that situation is not going to go his way, especially with the summit plant. There's too many open angles. If it's back sight, it's a lot easier to have a safer diffuse, but from the bomb plant and the angles, I think Zeppa kind of outplayed himself a little bit there.
I like how you even call that plant a summit at this point. It's just so iconic. I like it.
Yeah, the good old Summit 1G.
Good old Summit 1G. Everyone always a little too hasty on that 1G. Ooh, look at this peek from Zeppa. They're taking T-Con control again, but this time Team 1's just on the other side of it. Does he win the duel? He does, and he swap right off of it. Oh, Pesa doesn't anticipate the player close up. I don't know why. I think he almost spotted the shoulder of him. That's a serious misplay. Maybe he thought the player was bailing out. Now Fang is just going to have total control of T-Con, so this has gone to pieces for Team 1, and in a very strange manner. This one doesn't make much sense to me, the way they've lost these fights in towards Fang, and it's a catastrophe now, to be quite frank. TRK has to cross out in the open. He's exposed to so many players, so by the time he comes into the fight, his position will be known. He'll still somehow win that duel. But 20 seconds on the clock. What can Maluk and TRK possibly hope to do here? There's a flank coming down from ladder. There's players all over this outer site, so they're prevented from rotating towards B in any sort of reasonable time. They're just going to have to go for the stick here, and I don't think they can cross the site. They can indeed. Here's got to be the swing from ladder. How on earth has this turned into 2 frags? But there it is. They corral it. They bring it home. Under 21, they've got their 3rd round on the board.
That was a really messy round from all sides. Under 21 with a very lucky duel win in T-Con. Fang coming out with 2 kills, 3 total for the entire CT squad. And then TRK walking out on site, somehow almost able to get a bomb down. And it really was a very curious round overall with a bunch of question marks as to how things happened. The first kill for TRK was rather impressive. But I think all things considered, Team 1 can just shake that off. The only problem is Pesa, PRT, and TRK are all low on economy. Barton's bot, so has Maluk, and I think they're going to have to go for a weird 4 spot here. 3 pistols, 2 AKs, a bit of utility, but
yeah,
it's a really odd vibe.
It's
you
rough.
expect either an Ivy or a B push here.
I think because they were rewarded previously where they had the 3 rifles and the 2 deagles, they feel like they can probably get away with this again. And it's going to be an inner hit. They're definitely setting up for it. It's very straightforward. No 2 buts about this. The molly down to prevent the early AWP peak, which is exactly what Sneaky wanted. He'll lose a quarter of his health, reveal that the AWP was in fact there, and then just have to fade away. So that's a nice little piece of utility from Team 1. It's a fairly standard play if you anticipate the fast AWP peak, and it works out. But here's the interesting thing. Despite seeing a little bit of presence towards the B halls, despite having information that there's nobody Ivy just yet, they've brought 4 players back into the outer yard. They are very much emphasizing this outer yard hit, and they're going to be playing retake here because you can see how far back Curry is. He's just getting info and then fading. So you're going to be in a situation where the bomb's going to be planted and players will move forward. And Curry might have false info here because he spotted that sidewalk push-up. Okay, there we go. Zeppa has it. That's nicely done from Zeppa to prevent this from becoming an absolute catastrophe. They're looking for more, but this is still risky. Look at the position from Barton. He's gotten all the way through into Z connector. He might be able to ruin everything for the CTs. He's got 1, he's got 2, he's not got the 3rd, but he's done enough damage. His teammates now have a great spot, but they're taking peeks, they're taking fights, and I don't know why. Pesa with a deagle, all that can hold on here. He'll get an AK up, he'll have a nade to chuck in, but I don't think this is going to find a kill. It will! It was a low HP player, it was Curry! He's vulnerable to the nade, and now they have to devote another body to this. Sneaky will hold the angle, but he's lost his life, and that's going to be the victory for Team 1.
Pesa is insane. The 1 tap on the op, and then swing onto the bomb. Absolutely brilliant stuff here. Team 1, 3 pistols, 2 rifles, come out of this with a victory. Thanks to the heroics of Pesa on the 1v3. You question the peaks, Mike. Very rightly so. But it doesn't matter when Pesa's just going to win it all.
Yeah. We're seeing a little bit of sloppiness from both sides, I would say. Especially in the post plan. It's getting just a little bit too frisky for Team 1 a couple different times. There we see aggression up the B ramp. They've done this a few too many times for it not to be immediately checked by Team 1. And again, this aggression in towards T-Con. You can see Maluk's just going to hold it because Team 1 know that if they leave any gap towards T-Con, at some point under 21 are going to push in. It's a bit predictable. And I understand this. It does shrink the map. It really gives you an early warning system for an outer hit. But usually what you'd use that is you'd use that to hedge your bets a little bit towards B. And that's not what they're doing just yet. They haven't really taken advantage. So instead, it's just CT's completely isolated. No real chance for a trade. And nothing they're really doing to operate off of that information apart from hedging Curry a little bit further towards the upper site.
And this 4v4, I can justify a little bit of aggression from under 21, but for the most part, they're just throwing bodies needlessly away. A lot of their peaks are dry without utility, so it's just enabling Team 1 to mow them down, or at the very least, get 1-for-1s, which tend to favor the T side as it gives a lot more space. TRK is going to peek on into Curry. That's the B site opened up. It's going to draw a rotation away from Ivy, and as that rotation rotates to B, Team 1 have 2 players pushing into the back lines on camera on A. The bomb will make its way into ladder, but Zeppa's going to hold it down at least for 1. Gets answered back, but PRT has everything on A, leaving B-Wills in a 1v3. They'll stop the bomb cross at the very least, but PRT will recover the objective, punch in those digits. And there's no kid for B-Wills. In an unfavorable 1v2, it's not even going to be a 1v1 as Pesa, one more time, comes up with the final frag of the round. And Team 1 have got a 9th round on the board. T-side Train and under 21 don't have much to invest into this one. It's looking like double digits already for the Brazilian squad.
I would say this was a pretty expected result, and since this round shouldn't be an investment, oh, please don't do it. The pause comes in. They're discussing it clearly. We can talk a bit about the protracted veto. This first map is Train. It is Team 1's map pick. It's not a map under 21 play. It's not a map they're very good at, to be quite frank, as I think we're seeing. They're not super comfortable on it at all, and they're being exposed without a doubt. The second map is going to be Inferno. That one much more favors under 21. Team 1 doesn't love it. They play it, but they're not great at it. Meanwhile, under 21 tend to thrive there. And then our decider, if and when we get to it, is Nuke, which is a map that under 21 actually play a surprising amount for being a little bit of a looser team, and they're pretty comfortable on it. But Team 1 is excellent as a Nuke team, have taken on some real heavy hitters, and will be more than comfortable headed to the battlegrounds of that nuclear power plant.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best map of the night, honestly. It's going to be the map that's probably the most even between the two teams, and it gives the players the best chance to shine individually. Zeppa, though, has not been dampened here. He's still getting kills, but he'll only be good for one this round, I believe, as he gets taken down by PRT in the end, leaving Curry in the 1v4. There's a chance, though, Mike. If he can pick up this AK, which he does, there's low HP on 2 of these players. Molotov, though, will burn him up the ladder and force him to retreat without the Kalashnikov. That was the chance for Curry, was to nail one of those shots on E-Box. Now, he'll be lucky to get away with one more kill. That nade will only 1 point of damage. I think at this point, he's just going to try and save. Or,
jeez. They're a mystical thing in CS, aren't they? All it takes is like one little piece of geometry to block you, and you've got nothing.
Yeah, it's like the boxes on A site on Vertigo. You can nade somebody through it, but you nade somebody next to him and it does no damage.
It's very confusing. That's my one wish. I know people talk about, oh, we need Source 2, we nerf the Krieg. We should nerf the Krieg. The Krieg is absolutely overpowered in current meta. But my one genuine wish of a thing I'd like to see reworked is HE nades. I would love them to be just a little bit more predictable, and I think it would make the team play element of good utility usage so much more important. And as a caster, that's what I love that good utility
because you see those utilities that just should land right on somebody's feet and they do 2 points of damage, and then you see the ones that land 10 feet away and do half. So you never know, maybe Source 2 will fix that.
Maybe.
Two birds with one stone.
The rumor mill's heating up again. This happens like every 6 months. Everyone gets excited. They're like, oh, we're definitely getting Source 2. And then Valve buffs the Krieg. But you never know.
So you're saying that Krieg is going to be one shot to the body now? Make it a full-on automatic?
I mean, I think we're just going to increase fire rate so that it's the fastest shooting gun.
Isn't it already like the second fastest?
It matches the M4, which is the fastest rifle, I believe.
Yeah, it is the fastest rifle. It's even with the M4 with a very ominous number as its fire rate. Which, I guess, kind of is reminiscent of how the gun is viewed right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's, we'll see. This is the last chance for under 21 to make this half look at all respectable. It's already a catastrophe, to be quite frank. Right now, what's happened is they've gone to cook their dish, and they've dropped all the ingredients on the floor, but they still managed to get into the pot, and right now the pot's about to boil over, and it's a question of whether they can rescue it in time. This is my extended metaphor here. They are going to come through for a hit on Ivy, it seems, from Team 1. They just pushed 2 players through, and meanwhile, they've got space on the inner side. Look at this. Curry hasn't been spotted yet, but he's going to get wrapped on. TRK calls his number. B-Wills will get the answer, but he needs a bit more. He's losing teammates in the meantime, and he can't get reinforcements through. There is a flank coming in from the B-Halls itself, and that's pretty wild, but a player close up will be overlooked, and no kills whatsoever for Zappa coming down from that spot. This is a catastrophe. This is all over. This is 4 players surviving, and round 11 claimed for Team 1. I think at this point, under 21 are trying to figure out if they're allowed to surrender in map 1 of a BO3 and just head on over to Inferno.
And this is a cataclysmic half from under 21. There is nothing you can really say that's been good about this half, aside from Zeppa's 4K. That's it. And in the grand scheme of things, this half hopefully doesn't transfer over into Inferno. I'm hoping that under 21 can just wash this map out of their memory and go into Inferno knowing that that is their home in the sense of the series. Map that Team 1 aren't the most comfortable on, and say, you know what? Train, we don't like that map anyway. Who cares? Inferno's our time to shine. And let's get our revenge. That's what under 21 have to do. They just have to shake things off. Because if they get stuck on this map, Inferno's going to look very much like this. And that's going to end under 21's dreams of the global challenge really quick.
Yeah, and we do have to talk about it. There's always a little bit of concern with these younger teams. Obviously, their name is under 21. They are all under 21. I think one of them is going to turn 21 shortly after the season, but they're all quite young as players. They're inexperienced relatively, but they've got a ton of talent. Nice shots for B-Wills. Uses the bomb as like a laser beam here. He's done a ton of damage. It's not quite enough. Maybe a little bit more weapon movement. Nice there, but Sneaky's going to get it. It's looking like right here at the end, they will put one last round on the board. So there we go, a rally round to close things out. It's still an abysmal half, to be quite frank, but maybe there's something. But the thing you always wonder with young players like this, who haven't spent as long in leagues, have not been playing for as long, there's the mental game side of things. There's the how much are they going to be able to just shake this map off and say, you know what, it happens. It's not our map. We don't like playing train. It's just the way the veto shook out. Let's just get on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, even teams like Astralis struggled with the mental aspect for years before they finally broke through that wall. So, under 21, extremely young team. I mean, I'm pretty sure Zeppa's under 18. So,
sounds about right.
Yeah, Zeppa's really young. Curry, probably the most high-profile player, has the most experience in MDL out of all of them. But still a young player, a lot of firepower, but firepower only gets you so far. It's that mental aspect of the game that I think is probably the most important. I consider this game like 60% mental, because your mental state will affect how well you frag. Doesn't matter how good you are if your mental aspect is completely off.
Zeppa's actually 19, so he's like practically your age.
Oh, yeah.
Boggs is our resident baby here on the casting team. He's just recently turned 21, so he would no longer be able to be on this roster. But he's not far off. You're what? Like, you turned 21 like at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, just over a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hasn't been too long. Still, here we go. It's a hit towards inner. Fang gonna get the opening pick. That's nice. We're gonna see if they can do much more, but they're already getting forward with these T-side pistols, and this is gonna be tough for Team 1 now to get past. They are walled out of the site. They are locked down, and these blocks are keeping them at bay. Just a hail of bullets. They may not be precise, but it's suppressing fire, if you will. It's enough. And how close up by Oil Can. There's gonna be Zeppa getting another kill. He's shown out nicely this game so far, as much as anyone has shown out nicely on this roster, and we'll see it once more. Fang with the 3K in this round, and they do get the pistol. That was a critical piece. They had to get the pistol to have any chance at this map. Now there's a little bit of a light for them to maybe get back into it.
I'm not going to call it a comeback yet, but there is a chance, as you said. The bomb plant, the pistol round win, absolutely critical for under 21's chances here on train. A clean win here over Team 1's fours would just start to solidify that they have a little more chances on the T side. And if under 21 are going to have a solid half, it's probably going to be on that T side where they can be a little more free, but they're not going to be allowed to do anything when PRT and Pesadelo are taking them out one by one with the Deegs. Maluk's scout shot not going to land, but Pace is going to do more damage with the Deagle, taking Sneaky down to 4 points of health. He's got the Krieg too, so he has the most firepower, and he's just been dropped by the hand grenade. The Galils, though, starting to mop things up. Zeppa and B-Wills with 2, only 3 more to find. But B-Will's starting to get a little lower on health, and he's been dealt with by Maluk. Barton low. There's a 1v3 now for Zeppa, but if it was going to be somebody to clutch it out, it would be Zeppa, and he's looking for it, looking for the 4K one more time. Does not have the bomb, though, but there's a lot of time. He could rotate around and find it if he wanted to, but he's content on the duel. Oh! It's going to be Maluk. The scout shot on the camera. The discipline on that shot as well. Doesn't rush the flick. Phenomenal stuff there from the Brazilian hopper.
That's a schooling if ever I've seen one. I mean, that almost flipped for Zeppa. He's so good. Despite the fact that they're 12-5 right now, his personal line is 25-11. That's pretty unreal considering how much they're getting dumpstered on the scoreboard, that he's managing to find success on an individual level. Just has not translated to rounds for them just yet. And they may have just had their opportunity torn away. Now instead of getting... Because as a T-side, even if you lose that first pistol round, if you get the bomb planted, you're in a pretty good spot. Now if you win that round and then lose the subsequent force buy, you're kind of up the creek. They're just going to have Deegs here. They're going to emphasize the Deegs and buy into it. And if they don't get a plan here, they're going to be seriously regretting it indeed. Barton will be the first one in contact. He's got 1, he's got 2, he's got 3. It's into the Barton blender. And that's going to be an opportunity now, I think, for Maluk to deny this. No, he gets the tag. He's going for the knife. Not quite had. Maybe that's a little bit too much of bravado. He wanted the extra cash, and he wanted to try and deal with the player in the smoke. Still, his teammates are immediately there. They'll be able to salvage the rifle and the scout. No harm, no foul. Team 1 claim round 13.
I mean, you're up now 13-5. I can justify the knife. Go for a little bit of style points, you know? Have a little fun.
Look, I will say
the next map's not going to be too fun, so gotta have it here.
Also for him, he has the scout, right? The scout is a precision gun. If you've got an M4, you can spray down into the smoke. It's a little more effective. But the scout, he had no idea if his first shot had even landed. He was just playing the numbers game. So the knife actually does make sense from that perspective of just like, all right, let's just go for the stabs in smoke, maybe find somebody. I don't dislike his decision. Yesterday, in the first BO3, Team 1, after a strong first half, had a round where they were BMing and graffitiing and spraying bodies, and that tilted JRT right off the map. So it wound up, they lost that first map. It came back against them, and John would not stop talking about how that round was emblematic of why.
You know, the hockey player in me loves to see the BM. It's as close as we get to trash talk on the ice, so it's always a little fun. And Team 1 gonna take a page out of under 21's book, go for the T-Con push, but they're not gonna go for the more aggression after giving the first pick. It shows the difference between the more experienced teams and the younger teams. While Team 1 do have a lot of firepower and some young firepower in Barton, they're still going to have a little bit of so they're not just going to go for the full-on aggression. TRK will double down. B-Wills gets another one, but Pesa's kept the advantage in his team's favor. But Sneaky's bring back to a 2v2, and B-Wills swings onto Pesa. Barton now in a 1v2. Sneaky's low, but a Molotov will force him away. Bomb yet to go down, but that nade so close and yet so far.
Sneaky, what a good dodge to just jump away from it. That little slim bit he needed. It's all on Barton's shoulders. They're doing a great job at keeping him at bay. Now smoke goes down, and the player going up the office ladder. There's no way Barton's going to anticipate this. This is a next level idea, because they've bought themselves just the time to do it. I don't think they have it. Barton's inching forward. This should absolutely be an execution shot from Sneaky, but he's trying to wait as long as possible. He's their insurance policy on the bomb. Barton, how on earth can he make this read? He's trying to clear the bomb train, anticipating that might be the spot. There's a player out towards ID, and there's a player above him. The turn is there. Sneaky with the UMP. Not going to make it happen. One bullet in the gun right now. Barton sticking with it. It's going to be a headshot or nothing, and they won't peek. He just gets the defuse. B-Wills. Pros don't fake B-Wills. He's got the defuse. He's got round number 14.
I'm a little speechless here. At least go for a shoulder peek. Something. You can't afford to lose that round.
I mean,
also, when Sneaky's getting shot at, you kind of got to peek there.
You would think that would be the time to peek. I don't know whether there was a lack of communication there or what was going on. But obviously, you know, if he's taking a fight with the player office, that he's completely turned around, that you have his back exposed, you should have a free kill.
And it wasn't a clean win either.
No, decidedly not. Oh, nice tag with an 8. Surprised that didn't get more damage, but they do have the info because that HE actually made an audible noise as it hit the player. And Barton now knows there was somebody right close up in that smoke. In they come. Barton's got 1. Damage onto the second, but not enough quite just yet. Maluk's going to be looking for the pick. He will take down the low HP player. He's going to spot a second and a frag. There we go. Maluk making that all sing, as he is so commonly want to do. B-Wills will try and get a little something going, but that's going to be map point, and Team 1 now have 10 map points in a row on the CT side to just take the punishment to under 21 and get us through to map 2.
Yeah, for under 21, it's the taco scoreline, and I think they'll meet the same fate, especially as they're by. Well, it will be okay. It won't be the best. Curry and Sneaky will be relegated to an AK with no utility, or FAMAS, or Galils rather, with some utility. The Galil isn't that bad of a gun. I don't know why people don't like it. It's essentially an M4. It's an M4 with a slightly harder spray pattern for $1,800
and,
for less than the price of a P90.
More mediocre on the spray.
Yeah, but
look, it has a very
bit of a fact.
It has a great place in the current meta because it is so very cheap. But there is no situation where you'd rather have a Galil than an M4. It's tough. Especially at range, as it gets more protracted. Look at this. TRK looks like he wants to go for the aggression, but he's blinded, so he gives it away. Certainly, he's not going to push into T-Con. Oh, no, he is. Anyways, That was a odd decision, to say the
little
least.
brash.
I really don't know, after he gives up the initial info, how he justifies it, but PRT is going to make up for it, no problem, just kill everybody. Mesa likely going to be traded here, and indeed he is, but still the numbers working out for the CT side, and they are continuing to whittle away this under-21 squad. Curry, though, has a bit of an answer. A flank's going to be coming down from ladder, so they've got to get a move on to get this bomb planted. The longer they wait, the bigger the potential that they get flanked out. And PRT is going to be making sure this is clear for Barton to now come out. This could be huge. Barton... Curry's actually watching for it. That's a huge shot to hit for Curry. Everything now onto PRT. He's looking for the op shots. He knows the player's above him. He's heard him drop down. Should have this info, but he's going to fade off of it. There's no reason to force the issue here. If he saves this AWP, they'd be fine to buy into the next round, I think. Well, it'll still be pretty mediocre.
Yeah, he might just go for it, but his going for it will result in an AK bullet to the face, as Curry will net 3 kills and try and catch up a little bit to the rest of his team, to B-Wills and Zeppa. Team 1 now gonna go for a force buy. PRT's gonna go for a glass cannon op, Maluki with a scout and armor. Eagles, this is a very weird buy. And I kind of like it.
You do? Really?
I like it in the sense that it's weird and it might just work because of the way this game is going. As far as actual logic goes, no, but if PRT's gonna hit shots and PRT's gonna take the Eagle shots, here we go. Maluki with the scout, PRT with another op shot, and now Zeppa will most likely fall to Pesa, and that's exactly what happens. Team 1 with the weirdest buy I've seen in MDL playoffs so far. Take the map 16-6.
Yeah, that was odd. If you're ever going to do it on a map, might as well be trained. Gives you 2 scopes, and obviously they funnel straight into the 2 scopes. It was just a heavy emphasis on the outer yard, and under 21 decided to try and get out in that outer yard without doing any information finding, any fact finding. They went for the fast play. Really came back to bite them. But that's just sort of emblematic of how that map worked out entirely. It was Team 1 all the way through, really from the get-go. A couple flashes of brilliance off of individual plays, you would say, for under 21, but they never looked like they had all the pieces put together as a team to really properly take on that kind of competition on train. So we're headed to a map where they should be much more comfortable, to be quite frank. We're headed to Inferno. It is their map pick. It should be much more generous to the under 21 squad. Hopefully they could just shake off that loss, say we kind of knew we were going to get wrecked on that map. Just move on, boys. You got any final thoughts on that train game? I know there's not a lot of conclusions to take away because it kind of was just a battering.
I mean, there was signs of brilliance from the under 21 players. Everyone had solid moments. B-Wills as well. I mean, you can remember that lack of a peak, but he also had some very critical kills and moments that very well could have turned the tide of rounds. But you know, everyone on under 21 did have signs of brilliance. If they can bring that forward onto Inferno map, they are more comfortable on. They can use their pugginess, their more aggressive style to catch Team 1 off guard. Then the sunny steps of Inferno should be going the way of under 21, and we'll be heading to the nuclear power plant that everyone knows and loves. Well, observers know and hate, but everyone else loves.
Well, that's getting a step ahead of us. Inferno is the one yet to come. We're going to have that map coming up in just a moment, folks. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Mountain Dew League, our last night of playoffs, and we will be right back.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Cool. me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. Sarah, why you leaving me? Don't you know you killing me now? Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's Molly for the melancholy. Cody, fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. Sarah, why you leaving me? Put me on my misery. We're so far, but so far from close. It's so hard to find my destiny. Try not to drift apart, 'cause you'll be right back at the start.